Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Married Sisters Talk Show. I am your host, Becca Wilson. This show was created to deal with topics and issues that women are facing today. Whether you are married, single, widowed, or divorced, this show is for every sister. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and every Tuesday on our Married Sisters YouTube channel at 12 noon. If you like our show, please subscribe, like, and share.
We are sisters, married sisters, living our best lives, being blessed wives with our misters. We are sisters, we are married sisters.
So I have two questions. So you were talking just kind of about like the pain. So were you like was it not numb, or like were you able to just feel the stuff that was happening, or?
It was just, it was numb, but I could still just feel some pressure.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
And other than that, it was okay. The other part that was really bad was when you get your breast removed, you get what's called tissue expanders put in. Mm-hmm. And so I had to get those put in right away. That was probably another reason why my surgery, it took so long, because I opted to get those put in immediately. And when you get those put in, you have to go every 2 weeks to get your tissues expanded. And basically they take a syringe with fluid in it and they stick it in, it's like a big long needle. They stick it in and basically they blow your chest up and stretch your skin till you get to the size that your implant can fit in. And that was very uncomfortable, where they would give you the little stress balls to hold or whatnot. So that was one of the things that was, hard to deal with. And like I said, I had to do that for every 2 weeks for like a month and a half. Mm-hmm. And I used to take my youngest son with me because my plastic surgeon's office was really close to my job, and I'm a teacher, and my son went to my school, so he would go with me and have his little Nintendo Switch, and he'd sit in the corner like, oh, here come the needle, and I just turn your head.
Oh my goodness.
Now was that a part of like the treatment process?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
what did the treatment process consist of?
Well, for me, like I said, it was just to get the tissue expanders right after, so I opted to get reconstructive surgery at the same time that I got my general surgery when I got my double mastectomy. So that was part of it. And then the other thing that was kind of uncomfortable is you have to wear drainage tubes. So I always had the little granny pouch, and I had my tubes in there.
Are you serious?
Yes, and you had to wear button-up shirts like this. I had to do that for a long time. And then when you got to the size that you wanted, then you go in for another surgery and get your implants put in. But when they took the tubes out, because of the way the tubes are, they're wrapped around and up under. And when they pulled them out, that was uncomfortable. And he was like, 1, 2, 3. So I had the stress balls like, and he just yanked them out real quick. And they did leave. I have holes, scars, several scars in other areas where they were.
Yeah. Wow. So during that process, though, did they get how did they help you out? Did you get like all of the cancer? You got to go back through another mammogram? How did they go back and say, hey, we got it all?
They could just tell on the x-rays and things that it was all taken out. Like I said, at the time of surgery, I went from stage 0 to stage 1. So it was moving rapidly. Like I said, I got all this done over my summer break as a teacher. So you're talking about like 2 months, something like that. Yeah. So
it's aggressive then.
My form was aggressive. Yeah. Oh, and it had gotten out into the ducts. So when it got out to the ducts, I had to get 4 lymph nodes removed from the right side only. So all the testing that was done on the lymph nodes came back negative. So that proved that I was good to go. And when I had opted, like I said, to get both of them removed, that just lowered my chances even more. So that's all my post-op really consisted of.
Wow.
So, LaDonna, it sounds like, you had the right support system, all the family was around, the surgery was good, you found everything early. Were there any obstacles that you faced, throughout this process, or any challenges?
Oh, yes, I've had a few bumps in the road. Actually, the first set of implants that I have, they were called gummy bears. And I was the first patient that my plastic surgeon had ever put those in, and they're called gummy bears because if you cut that particular implant, it would hold its form. And so I don't mean to be funny, but I was small in breast size in the first place, so I didn't want to do anything too dramatic. I kind of wanted to stay the same. So
Come back as a D. I'm sorry.
I was at the beginning of the alphabet. I was at the very beginning. So when I talked to my doctor, I said, I want something that's kind of natural. I want to still look like me when it's over. So he talked to me about, hey, there's these new implants. And I said, okay, well, that sounds good. And, they're firm and, you don't even have to wear a bra. They're just there.
Wow, sounds great.
Was that too much?
No.
Okay. So I had those in for a while. And then after I had them in a few years or whatnot, they started to get uncomfortable. They were so hard that even when I slept, like on my stomach or my side, I would have discomfort. And then a report came out, and this shocked me. I had got a call. That particular implant, women were collecting fluid around it. So they were like on a recall. So I start, getting all upset and worried, and, my next appointment, I'm like, hey, what's going on here? And so, they screen me and everything. Luckily, thank you, it was a blessing. I didn't have any fluid. I'm thinking maybe because my implant size was so small that it didn't even have a chance to get any buildup. But I did tell him about me having the discomfort, so we opted to take them out, and now I have some silicone ones. And he said, well, you know what, you should even try to just go a little bigger to kind of match your frame. I was like, well, maybe just a little bigger, not too big. So we opted to do that, and my end goal was to get a size in. I had first tried to get some nipples made. That didn't work out, so I'm trying to get them flat so I can go to the final step, which would be a 3D tattooing. And I wanted to go to this gentleman named Vinny, who's a specialist in it, and he's in Boston. But you have to get everything settled in and whatnot. So even after I got these new implants in, to wind it back a little bit, one ended up doing this, if that makes sense. So I just happened to go this past summer on June 31st. I got my left side taken out and got a new one put in because one set up, after they settled in the pocket, one ended up kind of settling a little higher than the other one, and one laid more as a natural look. So I opted to go with the side that looked more natural. So we put a totally different size in, same kind of silicone implant. So we put that in. And so now, at this particular time now, I'm just trying to totally heal out, let them settle, because now, sometimes in the evening I have to sleep with a strap on me. And it basically is like a big giant Velcro, and it presses them down so that I could get the new one to flatten down to match the other one as close as possible. And then after, the virus and thing, we get a hold on this, then I plan on going to the final step for treatment, which would be my 3D tattooing, because like I said, I try to get some made in office where they basically make a star cut with your skin and just flap your skin over and sew it and make a nipple. And some kind of way, mine just kind of like flattened out, it didn't stay, and I was kind of tired of getting cut on. So he told me about this guy that does the 3D tattooing, and I looked him up, I saw his work, and a couple of his other patients had actually flown out there to Boston to get it done. So that's what I'm praying I can do at the end, after I get everything settled, really settled. And then, like I said, the virus and thing, lifts, and then I'll be finished. For at least, they can stay in for 15 years.
Oh, 15 years.
15 years.
That is awesome. I just want to know, I had breast reduction surgery, and so I'm just curious, did you have do you have sensitivity?
Oh, no, that's the down part. That's another down part. Even when I first got it done, the doctor always told me you have to massage them, you have to put your cream on your scars. And I didn't even want to touch them or just deal with them. I just heard put, my Velcro bra on. You had to wear the surgical bra or whatever. I didn't even want to look at them.
I don't know, it's not the same, and it's definitely not taken away from your story at all. But just the hurdles that I was going through, just having the reduction, the cutting of the nerve, and so.
Oh, yes. So I can't feel anything, and it's so weird because if you touch the scars where they feel like icicles. It's like the blood flow it seems like it's not getting there. And sometimes I'll get an itch and I'll just scratch and it's like I can't get to it because I can't feel it. I know that sounds weird, but I don't have feeling right on the top of the breast where the arrow would be, but I do have it on the side a little bit, and I have it at the top, the upper top towards, your collarbone or whatnot. But as you go lower, I don't have any feeling there.
So you said you didn't want to look at them, or you didn't want to see them. Can you tell us a little bit what you were feeling, or what you might have been thinking at that time, or what that experience was like?
I guess the scarring, it just looks so bad at first. It just looks like a big brown scab. And it's just so unpretty. That's why you see sometimes women will get tattoos over it, just to camouflage some of it and to make you feel more like a woman and not like, a Frankenstein or something like that. And, my husband is perfectly fine with it. He says that, I'm beautiful. I don't care if you get some or you don't get any or whatnot. But as a woman, you still want to feel pretty, because you still, at the end of the day, you look at yourself in the mirror and you want to feel good about what you see. So it took me a while to, kind of be okay and at peace with it. But now I'm fine. Like I said, when I get the tattoos, I'll feel even better. But at first, I just didn't like the way I looked. Just didn't like it.
Wow. You're blessing us. You truly are. LaDonna, you truly are. And I can't thank you enough for coming on here, wanting to share your story, give your testimony, because, there's a lot of people who, they won't open their mouths, they won't say anything, they suffer in silence. And we were talking about even before the show, because, I know your aunt, and how, people will, and I don't know if it was that age group, or they wouldn't want to go and get medical attention. They said, and then the devastation that it caused on the family, because we're looking at, you're such a strong woman, why didn't you go and get that mammogram, or why didn't you go and seek, professional help? And it's something that we just can't ignore it. If something's going wrong, we got to go and get checked, because it saves a life. Because imagine if you didn't, if you weren't led by Holy Spirit to go and get checked, and you just put that off.
Yes, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the one thing, whenever they say in church, you think about what God has done for you. That's the first thing, is like, I just thank you for making me just go, because I literally was like, I don't need to go. I've been okay for 2 years. They're just going to tell me I'm okay again. And I guess what else kind of really hit me is, I know somebody else on the opposite side of the family, another woman. She was going through breast cancer the same time as me, and she didn't make it. And I just think about, God has me here for a reason, but it's not like that for everybody. So I just try to tell as many people as I can. It doesn't matter how young you are, especially because I'm a teacher and I teach. I've taught kindergarten for 20 years, and I'm in first grade now. This is my 4th year in first grade. So a lot of the moms, they're younger, and I try to tell them, you need to go get checked. You need to get checked. And I'll never forget this one period I had, and that's why I said, you can be so young. She was 25, and she was diagnosed, and she was so upset and worried, because at that time, her child was in kindergarten with me. And I shared my story with her, and I told her, you need to go get yourself checked out, get your support people in place, because you need to try to be here for your baby. It doesn't have to necessarily be a death sentence. That's what people just automatically think, I got cancer, I'm not gonna no, you can fight it. You gotta pull yourself up. You gotta get a plan. It's just like voting now. Plan to vote, plan to fight it. It's just.
The will to live.
Right.
The will to live, I'm going to speak it to the enemy. No, you're not going to take my life from me. I can fight this. And you have to have faith, because if you don't believe in anything, the fear, will just overtake you. It will. You will succumb to fear on that. And I just think, like I said, it's just awesome. That you would come and share your story, and just hearing your story like this. And I just praise God for Holy Spirit just leading you, because he's a leader, he's a guide, he's a teacher, and just paying attention to that still small voice, that almost like that nagging, listen to it, because it's a warning. It was telling you something. And so is there anything that you want to, like you were saying, want to share, tell people?
I think the main thing, and that's the whole reason why I wanted to come here today, is to tell people, early detection is key. Do not skip your mammograms. Doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, you need to go. Go for yourself, go for your family, because you never know what you might hear. And like I said, no matter what the news is, you take it and do what you need to with it. If it's good, hey, wait till next year. If it's not, then start getting your eggs in order and get your plan together, because like you said, the devil will try to mess with you and say, you know, you're not going to make it, you can't do it, this gets you in a deep depression. I know some women that just, you know, basically they found out the information, they just fell apart, like, I can't do anything. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Get you a good set of friends.
Yes.
That is so important, is a strong support system. Like I said, I had mine for multiple areas. You might not need that many. Yeah. You might just need 1 or 2 girlfriends. As long as you have somebody, this is something that you don't need to go through by yourself. You really don't. Some people like to journal. I just used to like to talk to my girlfriends, and they would take me out, you know, because, you know, we like to have fun. Then one person, really, really important, is my college roommate. She's been with me. Actually, she's the one who kind of got me and my husband hooked up.
Oh, we're going to have to hear this story.
But she's, you know, she's like my sister. And, you know, she's just been there from day one through everything. Even now, she's, you know, upset with me. Like, I don't want them cutting on you anymore. I'm like, I'm at the end. I'm just trying to get the tattoos. But, yeah, like I said, I hate to repeat myself, but just get your support system. Do not skip your mammograms. That is so important.
Can I ask another question, LaDonna? Because I'm assuming that your sons, both of your sons would have been teenagers and maybe one a preteen. How did the news affect your children?
Oh, well, I kind of think they were in disbelief. Okay. They were like, well, what, you gonna be okay? I just remember them saying that, like, what's gonna happen to you? And then my youngest, when he asked me, are you gonna lose your hair? I said, well, Mommy, hope she's not gonna lose her hair. You know, I'm gonna go to the doctor and do whatever they tell me to do. But, and at the same time too, I think they were kind of like my husband. They didn't show their emotions in front of me. And I know my husband would tell me kind of, you know, later on, like, you know, they asked X, Y, and Z, but they didn't want to act different in front of me or act nervous or scared or anything like that. But my youngest one, that's my, like I said, he went with me for the tissue expander, so he was like my little comedian. So, you know, even though he would sit there in his video game, he would look up and make a crack like, oh, here comes a needle, ha-ha, or you better hold those squeeze balls, or they would even sometimes give him one, because one was shaped like a boob. And then he was like, I get to have this? I was like, yeah. And they said, well, you can squeeze like your mom squeezes. So he was like another, that's my mini-me. So yeah, that was like extra support.
Would there be anything that you would recommend maybe for mothers when they get the news, that maybe in sharing that information with their children, what advice would you give if someone were to get the news and how they would communicate that with their children?
I would sit everyone down as a family. I would be open. I would be honest. I would also tell them, like I had said earlier, this does not mean that I'm going to die. I'm going to fight. You can help me fight. Just be positive. That's the one thing I try to always, I would joke about it a lot too and stay positive. I think that's why my whole process went so well. But if you're like that and you don't let your kids see that you're uptight or tense, now you can have those moments. Like I did have them, you know, at night in the bed. You know, that was probably the devil messing with me, getting nervous or whatever. But don't feed that into your children. Keep everything upbeat and positive, and, you know, give them time to talk and see how they feel. And even when I was getting my initial support from the hospital, they even had support groups for the kids. I forgot to mention that. And they even had like my boys didn't need them, but they had even like little coloring books and things. I remember that kind of explained it in, you know, a lighter way to younger kids.
Wow. I have a question for you, Ms. LaDonna. At least for me, like growing up, we didn't talk about this a lot. Like there weren't black women like talking about the importance of seeking medical attention, you know, or just checking on yourself and telling young girls to like take care of you. Yeah. So what can we do as black women and as the community? You're a teacher, I'm a teacher as well. So what can we do to like support our girls and our children and our black kids and help them understand the importance of just taking care of themselves and going to the doctor? Yeah,
just to try to have an open dialogue with them. I know I do a lot through my sorority. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and through this month, we have something called the Hattie McDaniel Walk. That's one of our sorors, and we do a lot of things outreach with young girls. You can even go through youth organization, through church, to talk to young girls about how important it is. I can't per se talk to kids at my school about it because they're too young, so that's why I try to focus on the moms. Because like I said, I taught kindergarten, first grade, so they were still younger. They were in their 20s or whatnot. And so every time Breast Cancer Month would come around at school, I would always wear like a survivor shirt, or like today I even have on my sorority survivor pin. So something that kind of marketed. So if somebody has a question, you can kind of be a walking billboard. And you can just start, testifying and tell them your story. And if they have questions, you can. We even had, one year in my school, we had a bake sale in honor of me. So I was on, the parent newspaper and all this stuff. So, you can get your story out, and gradually people will come up to you and talk. But I would just say through youth organizations, even, I'm trying to think, Girl Scouts. I don't know if they have something. Just you can find groups. Like I said, try through church. There's other organizations besides sororities. You've got like the Links. You've got, I forgot, there's a teacher, the teacher sorority. I forget the name of it. But there's different organizations where you can reach the younger population.
Just use our platform and just get the message out. Okay, because I teach high school.
You've got the perfect, yeah.
Okay, so just have the conversations with them about the importance. Okay.
Through the guidance counselor. I mean, especially when the month of October comes, you can have all kind of literature out.
Wow. So how early women should be getting mammograms? I mean, as you said, she was 25, the lady that?
25.
So it sounds like in the 20s, maybe.
I don't know the exact time that I started getting mine, but I know because of my family history, I started early. I want to say I was like 21, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just trying to think back, like, when did I start getting mammograms? Because, I guess we think that, it can't happen to us, so we skip that. But it is one of the number one, I don't want to say killers, but it is one of the number one things that women deal with is breast cancer. And so I guess just getting the early detection is definitely key. Have you had one yet? I know you're young. This is the youngest. This is the baby on the panel here. So, and not to get in your personal, I'm just kind of curious. It's like, are you getting them yet? Or?
Yeah, I had them before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or was it just because they suggested? Is it something you wanted, or you went in and say, "Hey, I'm this age. Let me get a mammogram. I've never had one." Or?
That's a great question. Well, I guess I would kind of have to just talk about my history. So growing up, my stepdad always took us to the doctor, and so just to see him emphasize the importance of going to the doctor. And then my dad, he would just urge me to make sure I was taking care of myself and doing what I need to do. And so when I came to college by myself, I didn't have my family here, but I had that urgency to just go check myself out. Whether it was going to a clinic or just going somewhere, okay, this is my insurance card, or I don't have insurance, or whatever, but I need to just check everything out, and asking them the questions, what do I need to get checked out? What do I need to do? And so just really always just seeking that, to know what was going on. So that's always just been something that's been important to me. I definitely need to get back, because after becoming a mom and all those doctor visits and then having to change doctors, I definitely got away from it. But I wrote on my notes, go get that mammogram, and just get back, to that regimen, because it's so important, and I do want to know.
Right. So I think I was in my maybe my early 30s, because I just remember even with my grandmother is believed to have passed away with breast cancer. But just the fact that, even though it was family history, I remember in my 30s inquiring about it, and she was like, oh, don't worry about it. You're still kind of young. And I'm thinking, I guess we got to have our own common sense when it comes to that, too, because she clearly didn't know what she was talking about. Because now when you're looking at the numbers of the statistics versus even ethnicity, that, Black women are slightly just right under white women in getting breast cancer when I was doing the research, when I was reading that, 1%. And then to see that the numbers are really high for 40 and under, I was just amazed. I'm like, I didn't even know that. So to educate, to really talk about it, not even in October, but to just really talk about, these things so that women can get the help they need. I mean,
It just amazes me we still don't have a cure for this. After all these years, all these women, all this data that they have collected, so many different cases and stories, and it's just, I don't know, it's just amazing.
And it's something that men get this too.
Yes, they do.
And it's like, how are they, you don't hear about men talking about, I got to go get a mammogram. But I remember seeing, the awareness walk. And I remember men being out there, and they're breast cancer survivors. So it's kind of like, what's the difference, I guess, even with them? I mean, they just kind of see something protruding from them. I mean, it's like, what prompts them to go and get checks, Because it's like, what symptoms? I mean, were you feeling any symptoms? Were you feeling like tired or anything out of the normal of your normal routine?
Myself? No, I'm telling you, it was just the mammogram.
Just the mammogram.
It just the mammogram. And I knew that it was urgent for me to always go because of my family history. But like I said, I had a couple years, good health, no problems. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I just said, let me just go ahead and just go, stay on schedule, get it in the summer while I'm off, and thank God I did.
Yeah. Wow.
I love how you said get it in the summer while you're off, because I feel like that's an important statement though. What I heard you say was make the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so people just get so busy living like, well, I don't have the time. Like, make the time.
Yes.
Your life depends on it. So I'm gonna write that down. Make the time.
I try to schedule my appointments like that in the summer. As educators, you have a couple of months free where you can go in the morning. You don't have to rush after a long day of work and you're tired and, put it off. So, yes, I would definitely go in the summer. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Just the awareness of breast cancer, really talking about it, because a lot of times people don't like to talk about things like this. But we got to begin to start talking about it, with breast cancer, because we're scared. I mean, it's almost like, okay, so cancer, it means it's the end, I'm about to die or something, but it doesn't have to, like you said, it doesn't have to be like that. To get, like you said, the help, even if you need the mental help, to renew your mind, do that. Don't just sit in the dark and let the enemy defeat you.
Right, you have to be your own advocate as well. That's so important. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to say what you want, get what you need done, and don't let anybody try to deter you from it. Like saying things like, well, you don't need to go, or like in my case, well, you don't have to get both breasts removed. No, I'm going to do it because I want to, because it's my life. So
I like that boldness, though, of just, standing firm. Because I feel like, in life, people will try to sway you. And ultimately, they want the best for you.
Right.
But it's your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your life. Like, you have to live with what you see in the mirror.
And like I said, that was my own mother telling me that. She was really upset, like, basically, why can't you just do what I did and just get one off? Why do you have to get both? I'm like, because I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be worried all the time. Yeah. And then there's another piece with that. Then you have to go into wearing the special bras where you have a prosthesis put in. I didn't want to deal with that either. One real one, one fake one. I just, no, like I said, just get a pair.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, that's true. He got one sensitivity over here and just, I mean, I can get that. Yeah. It's like, and then you're, like I said, constantly worrying, okay, well, if I'm going to have it here, but if you just eliminate it, you take a lot off your life, taking the worry and the stress away.
And that's why, even to this day, I still go see my oncologist. You only have to see your oncologist for 5 years after you're clear. But first of all, I like her. She's a woman. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I bond with her too. But I like to go because I always had something in the back of my mind too. I know this is crazy too about cancer coming back in some other form. Like I said, I had ovarian, and she's like, no, you're good. You got both of them off, your percentages went down. And I think it's just for my own peace of mind, like we were saying, to make time to go. I don't have to go, but I just choose to go for me, for my own peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. Do you do meditations and things daily on Word or something?
I take long walks, and I do try to, I've got a the Bible app on my phone, so when the verses pop up, I do try to read those. I do have, like I said, I'm in a sorority, so some of my line sisters, you know, they would send me, you know, some scriptures like, get yourself together. So.
So are those things you do to be mentally well? I did hear you say you walk long, and that has great mental health benefits.
Yes, I take long walks with my husband. Okay. We do. We walk like about 6 miles.
Really?
And that kind of, yeah, that hasn't been always. We just kind of start doing it during the virus. But before then, we would go to the gym and we'd be on the treadmills by each other or the ellipticals by each other. And, you know, we would just, you know, he has a very stressful job himself. So that was just our time to be together and also to keep ourselves healthy.
Yeah. Wow.
I love that. I think the last thing I'll say, though, is I love that y'all emphasize the importance of mental wellness, because I'm also, like, outside a teacher, I'm a mental health, just like wellness person. That's just kind of how I live my life. So just to see, you know, a black person, because that's not something we focus on, being mentally well typically. So to know that that is something that y'all do in y'all's marriage, you know, to make sure that y'all do something to manage the stressors of life, because we all experience different stressors. And so it's just amazing to know that y'all do something and multiple things to make sure that y'all manage it.
Okay,
that's amazing.
Gotta have a date.
That's awesome.
And a date vacation. I'm doing one of those.
Yes.
One of those.
Yes. I mean, that's really awesome because, like I said, just the fear, because to know that he didn't give us the spirit of fear, but gave us that sound mind, but you still have to work to maintain the sound mind, work to silence the enemy who would always try to talk to you. And it's daily work. And so, because that moment that you give up on yourself, trust me, he's there to keep pulling you down, to put reminders, just to bring all kind of havoc. But you take your power back from the enemy, knowing that this is a fight, like my sister LaDonna was saying, that this is a fight that you don't have to be defeated in. I think it is important to get sisterhood, to have a support group, talk to someone, even when you don't feel like calling. That's the moment where you need to reach out and talk with somebody and let them either pray for you, to encourage you, to lift you up. And again, like I said, I am truly grateful for our sister to come on here to share her story. I've learned a lot just today and preparing for this show, because there was just a lot of things that, you know, you don't, I guess you don't make the time to really think about it, and then to think about our sisters that are dealing with it. And so we are praying for our sisters that are in the midst of dealing with this. We're praying for our sisters that are in recovery of this. That we're praying for mental health. We're praying for your family. We're praying for just your whole life of renewal, because I know it can be devastating. It just shatters your life for that moment. But like you're saying, just take that power back and realize that this is a fight that I'm not going to be defeated. You know, and just making that stand, and then take one foot in front of each other, and every day you get up, just renew your mind, you know, and I mean, that's the way, you know, I see it. You know, you got to renew your mind on a daily basis. Hi again, this is Becca Wilson. I truly hope you have enjoyed our show today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, you be blessed and have a great day.